incredibly exciting. So all this work kind of pins down to now. So we're going to go and get an MOT. So we'll also do the first ride on the bike, so we'll see exactly how it performs. I'm just letting it warm up at the moment, and we'll be on our way. I think that'll probably do it. Let's go. So my first initial thoughts is actually it's alright. It's really comfortable, to be fair. I'm a little bit crunched over compared to the 11, but it's just such a small bike compared. Just let this lorry, oh, it's flashing me, so let me go, that's good. So already she's yeah, quite nimble. Turns in beautifully. It's just so light. Should wang the choke off now, which I have. It's just, it feels like the 11, but just somehow smaller. Just a bit smaller and a bit more manageable. Certainly pulls well, which is reassuring. We'll see, we're not close to winding her up yet. Brand new tyres, so I don't really want to push it. I sound a bit snuffly today, I do apologise, I've got a lot of hay fever going on. So, at 40 miles an hour, in 6th gear, and all is well. Temperature gauge is coming up a little bit, which is nice. No funny vibrations, so that's also good. It's very smooth, to be fair. Doesn't appear to be any flat spots. But then I haven't really revved it yet. Brakes will need a bit of bedding in, I'm sure. It's very well behaved. Very well behaved. to say it's very, very comfortable as well, which is I wasn't expecting. I thought I was going to be a little bit cramped up. I mean, yes, it is bent over, so we are, you know, we are a bit of a sports bike now, but it's surprisingly comfortable. I'm not finding my legs are splayed apart too much, which means it's obviously a lot narrower than the 1100, so in that respect I'm actually really quite pleased. Handlebars obviously could always be a bit higher up and a bit more sit up and ride, but that isn't what this bike is about. She's not built as a you know, a sit up and ride bike. It's all about fun at the weekends. So it was designed initially as a sports tourer, but I'd say more sports, to be fair. Let's give it some a little bit. It certainly cracks on. It hasn't quite got the power of the 11 that I didn't expect it to have. You know, we're only talking about 100 brake horsepower as opposed to 147, so, you know, there are clear differences. It's not to say that it's a slouch. I mean, obviously I haven't really hit the echelons of high RPMs at this point. I'm still just going easy, checking things out, making sure that the carburation is doing sort of carburettory things, which it appears to be doing. I think the idle's a little high, so I might need to lower that down, which I can do in a minute. But I have to say, first initial impressions are good. So the idle's not too bad. Alright, let's go. Back from the MOT, and I'm delighted to say we have got a full pass, no advisories whatsoever, so I just couldn't be happier really. It's just nice. Another bike back on the road. I think it'd be rude now not to go out for a bit of a ride. So I have to say, it's been absolutely brilliant getting this bike back on the road. And you know, yeah, I know it's an older bike and all this, that and the other, but like I've said many times before, there's a lot to be said for these old machines, and this one is a little bit exceptional. I just cannot get over the condition of it. You know, you can get these quite cheap, a little 600, and they perform incredibly well. This one though is quite special. There is really nothing to dislike. So what work have we done on the bike? So obviously you've seen in the previous videos it's been completely stripped down. Didn't need to take the engine out because the engine was pretty good. So fortunately that was in really good order. The exhaust obviously has been replaced, brake calipers replaced, forks painted. What else have we done? Clutch has been checked and overhauled. Didn't actually need to do anything, it was just a matter of just, you know, liberating it and making good. New rubber, new exhaust, not sure if I've already mentioned that, new chain, sprockets were fine, and the whole thing completely cleaned within an inch of its life, degreased, polished, and what we've ended up with is I think something that would be very well placed in a museum because it looks good enough for that. It's not quite concourse, but we're not far off. You know, I'm gonna there's a couple of thoughts with this bike. You know, I always did it as another one back on the road with the intention of selling, but I'm not so sure I want to. It is so well suited for me. I mean, height wise, you know, I can put my feet down with ease. It's manageable, it's not too heavy, it's not as wide as the 1100. So with that adds a degree of, for me, safety. So when I'm pulling up at lights and things, I'm not having to deal with the weight. Yes, it hasn't got the go of the 1100, but I haven't explored the upper ends of the rev lane. Can't get the words out. I haven't explored the upper ends of the rev range yet. So really and truly, I don't know what this bike is capable of. I'm sure it's capable of a lot, if needing a little bit more time to get to those sort of speeds. But I'm not a fast rider. So I've always had a bit of a love affair with a ZZR. And the 1100 was always the thing for me, and I have to say this is a real contender over that, just because of the physics. You know, the physical size of the bike is better suited, and I feel a lot more comfortable on it. You know, I'm not feeling like my hips are getting separated to try and get my legs wide enough to be comfortable on it. So yeah, a bit of time to thought, but what I'm going to do is enjoy this bike for a while. I'm going to ride it. I'm going to get out and I'm going to see what it's like to live with, you know, on a daily basis. And you know, I've had the ZZR11 now for probably the best part of 2.5 to 3 years, and it's been absolutely fantastic. But it can be painful on the ride, for me anyway, just because I'm always at my limits trying to get on it. And I can immediately feel, although I'm hunched over here, I don't have that issue. There's a lot to be said for that. So for now, I'm just going to enjoy this peppy little 600cc, 100 brake horsepower rocket ship. My God, does it go? Wow-wee. Let's go for an overtake. Wow. She's impressive. I tell you what, you get it up in the high RPMs and wow, she won a ball. Oh, yes, you might have to work a little bit harder, engine, to get the sort of speeds, but she ain't slow. No, sorry. That ain't slow at all. What a cracking little bike. Well done, little ZZR. an absolute hoot. That's how I would. It's like a little brother of the 11, but it's on steroids. For a 600, it's impressive. I mean, I'm not a pro rider by any means, so you know, there's riders that will be able to wring its neck. But there's something called mechanical sympathy, and it's an old bike still. You know, it's still knocking on in years. But we're quite young on the mileage, so that's good. Change your mind. So the biggest difference I've noticed between this and the 11 is the torque of the 11's a bit more. So I'm finding that normally when I'll be in a certain gear and just hit the just breathe on the throttle, I'm already launching. This takes a little bit more workload down. So I'm a little bit unsure at this point of what gear to be in and where. She'll soon let me know though, because it will hunt if I'm not right. So up here I will stop and we'll take a little look, sort of showcase it. I always try and find somewhere with some nice scenery, you know, just to really sort of show it off a little bit and make it pop. It deserves it. Keep forgetting the tyres are quite new and don't want to overcook it. Lovely. Well, let's have a little look. So there she is, the ZZR600. Almost factory fresh. Those forks are stunning, actually. I'm really pleased with those. Fairings all in good order. There's the odd little mark here and there. Tank is amazing. Absolutely gorgeous. Cool, let's get back on and let's go. So, one thing I've not done yet on this bike is a hot start. Perfect. That tells me she's spot on. Something I could never comfortably do on the 11 actually is scoot. Yeah, so it's given me a little bit of a dilemma. Certainly didn't expect. Didn't expect to like it so much, to be honest. I always imagined that the 600 was just trying to be the 11. But it's certainly got its place. Certainly got its place. It's really pleasing to bring new life into these old machines, and another one saved in my book, because you know it had all the hallmarks of being a great bike from day one, but you know, somebody could have grabbed it and sort of lost interest, or maybe thought to carry on the project but never really got round to it, and you know, you're gonna just sat there for another few more years and maybe be sat outside uncovered, you know, as a wish. But in just 8 short weeks have turned it round into something that is, in my opinion, and I'm probably biased, but truly exceptional. Always worth a cheeky look at in the reflection. that's it, nice full tank of fuel. So, summarise. How do I summarise it? One word. Fun. It's revvy, it's fun. It's light, it's manoeuvrable. Is there anything I don't like about it? Possibly the initial clunk into first and the gear change into second is a little bit clunky. Gear change into second and third is smooth as you like. I mean, it's so yeah, a little bit clunky on the gear changes. Stand up to sort myself out. I'm sweating terribly today, it's really hot. So a little bit clunky low down on the gears. Still trying to figure out exactly what gear I need to be in for low speed, but that will just come with time. There really isn't much else to not like. You know, even with this crunched over or, you know, leant over position, it's not uncomfortable. You know, I really truly believe for the smaller rider, Kawasaki got this absolutely spot on. You know, I don't know how it would be for a tall rider, I'm not tall, but you know, they really got it spot on. It really is quite sweet. So that has given me a bit of a dilemma. So we'll have to see what happens, but in any case, I have really enjoyed putting together this little series. I've really enjoyed working on this bike, and I'm going to certainly really enjoy future rides on it for the time being. So if you like this content, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, then please subscribe. It doesn't cost anything, it's completely free. It does so much to my channel, subscribing. I'm not far away from reaching 500 subscribers, and I'm really, well, I'm quite made up actually to have got it this far. When I started YouTubing, I just didn't know really what I was doing, and I'm finding my way with every video, but you know, consider subscribing. It really helps out a lot, and you know, it just means that it's going to give me the motivation to carry on. So I do hope you've enjoyed watching this as much as I've enjoyed filming it and riding this bike and doing all the work, of course. In any case, whatever you do, I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.